Let's start the ceremony.
Honorable Basilus, someone seeks admittance from the apprentice's room.
Give attention to the seeker.
Who seeks to be admitted?
Hegemon, apprentices who, having studied, served, and searched for new knowledge, now seek to participate in the work and ideals of this honor society.
Have their past records been thoroughly evaluated?
Their records have been thoroughly investigated and appraised.
Are they deemed worthy of membership in Epsilon Pi Tau?
They are recommended for this honor.
Apprentices, if you desire to become members of this honor society, answer, I do. The answer is more than satisfactory. I will make your request known to the Honorable Basilus. Honorable Basilus, Hegemon awaits at the threshold with apprentices who desire to be admitted.
Have you ascertained the worthiness of these apprentices?
All preliminaries leading to the admittance of the apprentices have been satisfactorily completed.
Order them admitted that we may proceed with their enlightenment.
The Honorable Basilus commands you to present the apprentices.
What strangers have crossed our threshold?
These are apprentices who desire to participate in the work and benefits of our honorary. By your leave, Honorable Basilus, I present these apprentices.
The report will suffice. Apprentices, if you desire to become members, answer, I do. I know no reason why the apprentices should not be advanced in Epsilon Pi Tau. Hegemon, conduct the apprentices to the learner seats, where they will be given further instruction. Give heed, O seekers of enlightenment, to Histiographus, who will unfold for you the record of Epsilon Pi Tau.
Friends, it is my pleasure and opportunity as historian to reveal to you the story of the development of Epsilon Pi Tau. Since the dawn of civilization, people of like minds and kindred purposes have banded together for the advancement of their common welfare and the more complete integration of social structure. Noble minds have brought forth noble professional organizations that have fostered ideals to fruition and have spurred into action those retiring souls whom the world might have suffered to pass unheard and unsung. These bonds among kindred minds have vanquished the tyrant, enlightened the masses, elevated right above might, deposed the demagogue, and imparted to each individual the wisdom that formerly abided only in the favored few. In no less lofty ideals was Epsilon Pi Tau honorary conceived and born. Early in the year 1928, a small group of scholars gathered periodically about a seminar table at the Ohio State University. Visioning a need for an organization of mutually interested minds, they began to study the feasibility of a Greek letter honorary for the academic fields and professional practice areas we now associate with technology. The seed thus sown germinated into a tentative organization that undertook to prepare a statement of ideals and to recommend ways and means by which these ideals might be fostered and perpetuated. Many and vigorous were the discussions before an agreement was reached. The tangible results of these deliberations may be seen in the dynamic history of this honor society. While several generations have passed since this committee reflected so profoundly, its ideals apply even as new professional fields emerge and existing fields are reconceived. The ideals are also appropriate to new and emerging professions that continue to evolve in every area of the enterprise and service sectors of society in response to technological developments. In fact, Epsilon Pi Tau currently enjoys a unique place in the annual conference programs of several professional organizations and is recognized as the official honor society of the International Technology and Engineering Educators Association and the Association of Technology, Management, and Applied Engineering, and is welcomed by many other state, national, and international organizations. The ideals of this honorary will assuredly endure. Listen well, apprentices, as the ideals are disclosed to you. The first of these is to esteem the function of technological capability and skill as it applies in the professions in technology. The second is to promote social and professional proficiency, not only in the more restricted contacts of the individual with others, but also in the broader relationships of our professions in the whole of society. The third is to foster and reward research and to respect, value, and use the products of scholarly endeavor. These ideals, with all that they mean, have been bequeathed to you by the founders of Epsilon Pi Tau. The consuming desire of this early committee was to lay a sound foundation for the building of a stable organization through which our members and professions might be stimulated to healthy growth and continuous progress. Apprentices, we believe that these ideals will attract and inspire any person who is to contribute to the leadership of our programs. They may be summed up in three cardinal concepts. First, the capability to appreciate the role and implications of technology and to use its products judiciously and skillfully. Second, a disposition and ability to achieve professional ideas. And third, a desire and capacity to engage in or benefit from the search for truth. These three concepts are expressed by the Greek words technike, pragmateia, and exegesis. They constitute the philosophy of Epsilon Pi Tau. And now, my friends, as historian, I challenge you to develop and make the most of your capacities through the years, and to be ever mindful of the philosophy just unfolded in the ideals of Epsilon Pi Tau. Through them, it is your opportunity to go far.
Historiographus has revealed in part the history of our honorary. Listen now to the lesson of our first counselor, technike.
Behold, technike. It represents the ideal of technological capability and skill, and the use of technology to utilize resources for the extension of human potential. Soon after humans inhabited the earth, technological capability and skill were born. When the first stone was used as a tool, technike began to develop. The molding of bronze and iron to our will was a significant advancement for technike. Today, technike is manifest in systems and processes related to information, organizations, and materials. Through its magic, materials are shaped into countless objects of beauty and utility. The wealth of the land, the sea, and the sky is developed. Life is improved and extended, and we undertake the challenges presented by new frontiers that evolve out of existing fields such as information technology, nanotechnology, biomedicine, artificial intelligence, and alternative energies. The achievements of technike are many, and no person has yet foreseen their end. I counsel you to cultivate technike with diligence. Apprentices, take the emblem of technike and place it on, bear the emblem of technike to the Honorable Basilus.
Thank you. Consider the place of technike and what it brings. Those who have learned the power of technological capability may be confident that they now possess the sole key to success and may believe that this alone will win. But experience teaches us otherwise, that other characteristics are essential to a well-rounded life. So give heed to our second counselor, Pragmateia, who will instruct you further.
Listen to pragmateia, to social and professional proficiency. Through technike, though technike has enabled us to creatively use the resources of nature, pragmateia was also needed if the desire for growth and service was to be realized. When we have learned the lesson of pragmateia, we are able to live in peace and with profit among ourselves, and to assume an effective place in our society. When we take pragmateia to heart, we are armored with an invulnerable defense against defeat and the frustration of our ideals. Only then are we able, in truly great measure, to reap the rewards of our skill. But pragmateia is not lightly won. To achieve it, you must know and respect others, and must subordinate self in showing consideration for them in all personal interaction, including social media. Remember that you profit most when you further the interests of your profession and continue to the advancement of society. According to Bill Gates, it's fine to celebrate success, but it's more important to heed the lessons of failure. Stern, unremitting effort is required to hold one's self in check and to think of professional and social needs first. Yet, if you would learn by trial and error, by observation and practice, by taking thought and seeking truth, how you may become an effective member of this honorary, and of other groups, remember always that if you would succeed, you must achieve pragmatia. Bear the white bar to the table of the Honorable Bossalus for further directions.
Apprentice, since you have learned that for success you must unite pragmatia with technique, even so, we would be joining these two parts of the triangle if we were here in person, but right now it will be virtual. Behold, apprentices, we've now added 2 extents and powers of 2 bars. With 2 precepts, we can progress further than with 1. Yet, there's something missing that would ensure completeness and stability in our symbolism of these principles of life. Listen, therefore, to our 3rd counselor, Exegesis.
Exegesis. This is the golden bar of exegesis, or research in its uses. It is emblematic of the search for truth and represents the chief instrument of progress, not only for our honorary, but also for the whole human race. Long after we had achieved the molding of nature to our desire through the existence of technological capability and skill, or technique, long after we learned to live in a society through the practice of social and professional persistency, or pragmatia, we learned the power of exegesis. To what ends do people toil? For what purpose do they participate in social groups? The best means of achieving those ends, of fulfilling those purposes, is through exegesis or research. To those who come with open minds and seek by objective methods, exegesis slowly but surely reveals the precious grains of truth that lead the way from darkness to light. Less and less shall the will of the tyrant or glittering generalities of the demagogue direct our destinies. The seeker, the thinker, is more and more the one who leads. Listen to the words of Burton Braley, selected from his poem, The Thinker. Although the imagery depicts our technological heritage, the message of the power of research endures. Back to the beating hammer by which the steel is wrought. Back to the workshop's clamor. The seeker may find the thought that is even master of iron and steel and steam, that rises above disaster and tramples it under heel. Might the roaring boiler, force of the engine's thrust, strength of the sweating toiler, greatly in these we trust. But back to them stands the schemer, the thinker who drives things through, back to the job of the dreamer, who's making the dreams come true. Apprentices, this poem is a miniature of the function and places exegesis to dream and to dream that truth reveals, and then work to make that dream come true. And equal to that, I counsel you to make exegesis your constant companion, strive diligently to be objective, to suspend judgment until all facts are known, and to support assertions with data and factual information. This wins admiration of colleagues and contributes mightily to successful leadership. Master the ways of research and use them honestly, for through ecstasis comes the truth, the supreme aletheia. Apprentices, bear the emblem of ecstasis to the Honorable Basileus and place it in position before the Honorable Basileus.
Apprentice, even as with technique being linked to pragmatia, we are now going to add ecstasis to technique and pragmatia, creating a triangle. You will observe the stability that is the result of interlocking technological capability and skill, social and professional proficiency, and research. Nothing can shake the strength of these three. They mutually reinforce one another. Moreover, that which was without significant form is now imbued with all the attributes of the triangle. That you may better understand the significance of this symbol, give heed, apprentices, to historiographus, as the history of triunity and the development of humanity is unfolded to you.
The concept of three, or triunity, was a potent factor in the early history of humanity, but the origin of the triangle is shrouded in the mists of dim antiquity. The properties of the triangle must have been known about 3700 BC, for the first king of the fourth dynasty of Egypt used it in designing and constructing the Great Pyramid. The triangle ranks as a most important figure. It is the simplest that can be drawn with straight lines. Without knowledge of the properties of the triangle, the science of geometry would have been impossible. At one time, the equilateral triangle was considered a sacred symbol. It was common in the Phoenician, Egyptian, Greek, and other ancient languages. Whenever an oath of importance was taken in the days of Pythagoras, it was administered on the equilateral triangle. Our honorary has chosen to reflect the constructive and stable qualities of this ancient symbol as emblematic of the ideals of Epsilon Pi Tau, as presented to you by the three counselors, Technicae, Pragmatia, and Ecstasis.
And so, if you would develop your potentialities to the utmost, you must cultivate and maintain within you Technicae, Pragmatia, and Ecstasis. This honorary will assist you in the process of your personal and professional development. Its members have chosen to admit you to their number because of their belief in your ability to grow. Do not disappoint them. Put forth your best efforts, strive and succeed. The opportunity is yours. And now, one ceremony remains. All members and apprentices, please repeat after me the obligation of Epsilon Tau. It will not conflict with your obligations to your God, your country, or other people.
Say I and pronounce your full name. On my honor, do solemnly promise, in the presence of the members of this honorary, to respect, uphold, and defend the ideas of Epsilon Pi Tau. I agree to abide by the laws, rules, decrees, and actions of the honorary. I pledge my word to endeavor to perfect myself in Technicae, in Pragmatia, and in Ecstasis. To honor and respect these three in works and efforts of others, whether members of the honorary or not. To all this, I pledge my solemn word. The 2022 Gamma Phi Chapter inductees.
With that, I want to turn this over to two guests that we have this evening. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Jessica Murphy, who is the chair of the Board of Trustees for Epsilon Pi Tau, and give her an opportunity to give us all a welcome. So, Dr. Murphy.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, a great welcome from the state of Mississippi. And I'll turn on my camera for a moment here. And I just wanted to congratulate everyone and welcome you to Epsilon Pi Tau. And I represent the Region 2, as Karen has mentioned. And we're looking forward to work more with Karen on starting a community college chapter here in the state of Mississippi. So the Region 2 usually is covered from the southeastern portion, also the Caribbean countries, as well as countries in South Africa. So again, welcome to Epsilon Pi Tau, and a big howdy from Mississippi.
And thank you, Dr. Murphy. And I do want to just let everyone know that we actually participated in an induction ceremony for South Africa Thursday morning. So that was pretty exciting to do that virtually. Next, I want to introduce Dr. Kevin Howell. He's the executive director for Epsilon Pi Tau, and have him, give a few words about Epsilon Pi Tau, and also, show you the triangle. So if you were here in person, this would be what you were actually constructing.
So here's our triangle, and the symbolism, it's kind of sliding through with my background. If I slide back a little bit, you can see it a little bit more. It really is a great piece of symbolism, because your counselors talked about your technical skill over here and your research skill on this side, and then your sociability, social and professional proficiency down here. If you only had one of those bars, you would not be nearly as stable an individual in society as having all of these together. And it's a great part of the year for me, because April is when we have more initiations than any other time. Yesterday, I did 4 of these ceremonies, And we went around the world yesterday. We started off very early at 8 a.m. to accommodate new members from Africa. So we had new members from South Africa, from Nigeria, and from Malawi. Then we moved on to the noon meeting, and we brought in new members from several chapters in the United States, along with Italy and Germany. And then a little bit later, I had an all U.S. Initiation ceremony that had 76 in the Zoom meeting at State University of New York, Oswego, near Rochester. And then we rounded out the evening with Jackson State University, American Intercontinental University, Berea College, Appalachian State University, where I'm located, and a new member from China as well. And so we covered the whole world yesterday. And this is my second ceremony today. And I just, before we started, finished the ceremony with San Francisco State University. And they brought in 27 new members, and they do a fantastic ceremony, just as the Gamma Phi chapter does. And I asked them, do you want me to say anything special to the Gamma Phi chapter? And they all said universally, bring them great greetings from the West Coast and the sunshine. And so I bring you their greetings from the Beta chapter of Epsilon Pi Tau. You know, I do want to point out something that I think is really important. After World War II, our founder, William E. Warner, was on General Eisenhower's staff during World War II, and he had all these international connections, and that started the foundation for the internationalization of Epsilon Pi Tau. And in the 50s and 60s, they were very active. And then after Dr. Warner passed away in the 70s and 80s and 90s, those international chapters, a lot of them dried up. But the COVID situation has opened the door wide open for us to go back out and recognize the international side of Epsilon Pi Tau. You know, a year ago, if I would have said we're going to start doing new initiation ceremonies virtually, and we're going to have chapters all over the world doing these things, nobody would have bought into it. But Zoom and WebEx and Microsoft Teams, they're all so readily accepted today that nobody even questions things. And so this really is the internationalization of Epsilon Pi Tau 2.0. And I'm really excited about the opportunities. And I'm so proud of all you new members. And, you know, there's great things in front of you. And there's great things out there for Epsilon Pi Tau. I do want to tell you a new benefit for all of you. We've got a bunch of new merchandise that's going to be in the EPT web store next week. And as your paperwork gets processed, you're all going to get a 20% off coupon for any of our new merchandise. And so I was hoping that Dr. Wasina Birch would be wearing her pullover like mine tonight, but I've got mine on, and I've got my.
I have on mine as well.
Oh, yeah, and Dr. Murphy's got hers, and see, there you go. And I've got my tumbler, and I've also got my hat with me tonight. But you know, I want you to have the gear because I want you to feel part of the community, and it's great for me as I get to travel and visit these chapters. You know, I get to see the local colors. But at the same time, I see the blue, white, and gold for our three counselors. You know, no matter where I go, I get to see all of those. And it is just a fantastic organization. And I'm so happy for you to be part of it. And I've got a challenge for those of you that are going on to 4-year schools. I saw the list that Dr. Wasina Birch had, and I know that only one of those schools has a chapter of Epsilon Pi Tau. And so here's my challenge to you. If you're going on to one of those schools or one that's not listed there, find your favorite professor, contact Dr. Wasina Birch or contact me and say, here's my favorite professor. We need to have a chapter of Epsilon Pi Tau at University of Massachusetts Lowell, okay, or at Florida Institute of Technology. So that's a challenge from me to you today. Send me a LinkedIn connection. I want to see where you end up. I want to see what happens to you. It does great. It opens my heart wide open to see our members do well. And LinkedIn is a great place for me to see that. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm glad to see you folks doing well. And I'm so proud of the Gamma Phi chapter and their entire leadership. So congratulations again, and I'll turn things back over to Dr. Wasina Birch.
Well, thank you so much. The ceremony will now be concluded. I now declare you members in full standing of the International Honor Society for Professions in Technology, Epsilon Pi Tau, with all the rights and privilege thereto appertaining. I counsel you to look well to your development, that you may become still more worthy members of the honorary. Congratulations to everyone.